Factor the quadratic function h of x equals x squared minus 11x minus 60 using grouping. All right, so we need to find two numbers that add to the middle term, negative 11, because we're going to split that, and then multiply to the first and last numbers. And so 1 and negative 60. So something that multiplies to negative 60 and adds to negative 11. And so thinking of what multiplies to 60 or negative 60, I'm going to write those over here on the side, what our different combinations could be. So we have 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, and let's see, 60 and 1. I'm probably missing some, 6 and 10. So we'll start with these and see if any of these would work with one of them being negative, so that it'd multiply to a negative, and then also needing to add to negative 11. 2 and 30, those could never add to negative 11, no matter which one was negative. 3 and 20, again, neither one could add to negative 11. 4 and 15, okay, well 15 minus 4 is 11, so if the 15 was negative, negative 15 and positive 4, that could add to negative 11, and it also multiplies to negative 60. So we do have a pair that works. And so using those will be what we split the middle term into. And so we have x squared and then plus 4x minus 15x minus 60. And so now we just need to group the first two and the second two and factor out the least common multiple and factor out the greatest common factor. And so with x squared and 4x, the common factor there is they both have an x. Notice the second term does not have an x squared. So the biggest or the most amount of x's we can pull out is just 1. And so we can take out an x, and then we have, well, x times x will give us x squared. So we still have an x left in the first term, and then plus 4. And then 4 times x gives us 4x, what we started with. And so there's that one factored. And then the second two, then between 15 and 60, we know that 15 goes both into 15 and 60. And then also each one has a minus. And so we can actually factor out a minus or negative 15. And notice that there's only x in the first term, not the second. And so we'll be left with negative 15 and then times x, since that's in the first term. And then to get 60, that would be times 4. Because negative 15 times 4 gives us negative 60. And so now that we've broken it up, notice that here that we have the same thing factored out. And that has to happen when we're factoring using the grouping method. And if you don't get the same thing here, then you need to look back and see what you're factoring out and make sure that you can get the same thing factored in both cases. So now we have x minus 15, so take the two outside terms, and those are both multiplied, so x minus 15, those are both multiplied by x plus 4. So we can rewrite it by grouping the outside terms and then multiplied by this other term that was the same. And that those are the same things. And so that gives us our factored form using grouping. Our answer is h of x equals x plus 4 times x minus 15.